Right, welcome to the first sub Q&A video I'm doing. It's for April, and I've been having a channel in my Discord open for subs where they can submit questions, and I haven't prepared answers beforehand. Instead, get real, how to say, you get real answers, and yeah, I don't know what that, but get real answers, and we're starting with one from FairyDust80, where he asks, "What motivated you to analyze and coach Overwatch gameplay?" And the thing that motivated me was that it's simply fun. It's really fun, and just by nature, I'm very patient, and I like to analyze things. Just in general, like I like to think, I like to break down things, I like to innovate. I like to be creative, for example, with strats. And yeah, pieces just fell together. Ended up being a coach, and analyzing is one of the tasks you need to do as a coach, and that's why I started doing analysis. In your opinion, now this one is from Jake MP. In your opinion, which characters are most needed, which characters are most in need of a buff slash rework, and what would you do if you were in charge of said buff slash rework? I think the characters, or the, I'm not really thinking of multiple characters. I'm only thinking of maybe one, and that would be Reaper, let's say. Reaper is in need of a rework, and to be honest, I don't know what you would do with Reaper, but it feels like with Reaper you need to play close to corners, and you need to play slow, so to say, and the game is too quick for him right now. So maybe it's gonna come back into meta with 2-2, but right now corners are there's too many threats around corners, and he needs some way of protecting himself so that he can over time deal damage, because he has to be so close. And I don't know how you would fix that, but I feel like Reaper needs a change. Forium. What character designs in other games do you think would work well in Overwatch? So I feel like in Heroes of the Storm, there's a character called Abathur. Abathur is a character where he sits from far away, like behind cover, or like in your team space, and then he gives shields. He deals damage and stuff by. Uh, there's like this parasite or whatever. He puts it on your teammates, and then above their head comes an icon, and then he can shoot from that icon. And I feel like it would be cool to have a similar character in Overwatch, where it's sort of like a character that plays far back. Maybe, like the stance when Junkrat has his tire, like remote controlled, and then you give buffs. Maybe you give like a turret or something, and you can control turrets, or you have several turrets, like maybe 2-3 torp turrets, but not as powerful, of course. And then you can like go in between, control which ones you want, and maybe one turret has a specific ability, the other turret has a different ability, and that would be a cool character that I think would work in Overwatch. Dirty Prince. What's the one show or movie that you always return to once a year? That one is The Office, the US Office, and it's probably at least an episode every year, and it's the least at the moment I return to it. It's like no specific moments. It's I never expect it. It's at least when you yeah, I don't know the saying, but you know what I mean. When you expect it the least. One from Rebel. What's your favorite food or favorite part of your and no? What's your favorite food and favorite part of your childhood? So my favorite food, that's stewed spinach with diced eggs. A very simple dish. And my favorite part of my childhood is each time my mom would make that dish. I would also imagine I'm Popeyes, and like I'm getting as strong as Popeyes. And yeah, that's my favorite part. Which one would you rather fight? One polar-sized bear? No, one polar bear-sized peak or 5 peak-sized polar bears? Definitely a peak-sized polar bear. Definitely. I don't want to die. Jake and P. That one was from Rebel, and here's one from Jake and P. How do you play against a comp that has 2 very high damage spam heroes as Ryan? For example, against the Junkrat and a Pharah, do you switch off Ryan and try to make it work, or do you switch off Ryan or try to make it work? This is a good question because it's not intuitive, like in game, what you're supposed to do. But with Reinhardt against the Pharah, you make sure that your back is safe and your head is safe, like above you. And you play with a shield and you basically create a box. And with Junkrat, it's similar, but you make sure that you don't have a wall behind your back too close, because then, yeah, grenades are gonna bounce on the walls and hit you in the back. And you play for the corners. Same with Pharah. I forgot to add the corners, but that's how you do it, and it's pretty simple, right? With Junkrat, you don't have to worry about having something above your head. Vake. How many cans of Nano Cola do you need to get to top 500? I'd say none. Yeah, you need none, unless you're XQC. Then you need a lot of Nano Cola. No, I'm just kidding. You need none, actually, none. Dirty Prince. Do you drink at all? What's your favorite alcoholic beverage to kick back with some buddies? I drink, but I only drink socially. I never really drink nowadays because I'm so focused on work, and most of my time goes into work anyways. But if I do drink with buddies, like hang out at a pub or something, it would be just any type of beer. Minion. What movie are you looking forward to watch? I'm this type of person who I barely go to the movies, and that's not because I don't see any movie that I would like to watch, or like there's no movie that I would watch. I mean, it's just that there's no good cinema close to me, and it's also how to say it. I forget about it. I forget about going to the cinema because there's other things I'm doing instead, and I'd guess Endgame. Endgame is the one I'm looking forward to watch. I probably won't watch it at the cinema because there's no cinema worth going to close by, and if I want to go to a good cinema, because of my location right now, it would take like an hour or so, and that's a lot of time I can use. Anto X AKX99. How did you get into Overwatch? How did you start coaching it? And what's your story as a pro coach? So I got into Overwatch by checking out the open beta when Blizzard released it back in 2016 or 2015. Can't really remember when it was, but it was a long time ago. And I just knew like Overwatch is so fun. It's so fun, and I wanted to be a player back then. And the reason I started coaching is because I wanted to do something with Overwatch because I just loved the game, and I knew that because I was in school, in university, I had to decide either I go into studies and study like school as well as coach, or try to study the game, because I didn't have the time to develop my muscle memory and maintain like the practice of grinded and all that. So I just tried coaching, see if I like it, and I ended up liking it. Then my story as a pro coach. I'm not sure what you mean by story as a pro coach, but it's it's a job. It's a job. It's the difference between a pro coach and a non-pro coach. It's that you get paid to do it. You can live off doing it, and I've been in competitions. I've been in Apex. I've been in Overwatch League. I've been outside of Overwatch League. I've been in contenders. Not in contenders. Yeah, I've been in contenders, but not like contenders right now. It was before Overwatch League. And yeah, I don't really have any story, like epic story or anything. It's more like specific moments maybe, but there's way too many. Give it a bite. Do you think you will coach or make content for other games than Overwatch? I'd say so, yes. I'd say yes. But right now, unless Overwatch completely disappears, it's not gonna happen. There's no reason for me to go for other games. I don't want to. Not yet. But I will, because I know Overwatch is gonna get old. It's gonna get old, so it's probably gonna be, Overwatch 2, 3, who knows. Different games. I can't see the future, but for the moment, all of my focus is on Overwatch, and it's gonna be like that for a couple of years, at least. Fairdust 80. Who do you think is the most underutilized hero with viable potential, and who do you think is the most overused hero? Which do you prefer? Oh, there's several questions. So, the most underutilized hero is probably Mei, because her wall is really strong. And her wall requires a lot of, how to say, you have to think in 3 dimensions, like you have to visualize the wall as you're putting it up, and then in game it's kind of difficult to do that because it's kind of fast paced. So she's a viable hero with a lot of potential, and the most overused hero is probably I'd say Reinhardt is probably the most overused hero because of Reinhardt isn't always needed. I'm talking about ranked here, by the way. Reinhardt is not always needed, but because he's the staple hero, it feels wrong to the player base, from my experiences, when you don't play Reinhardt, because if you go Winston, people go nuts. If you go Rissa, people tilt, and I feel like when you go Reinhardt, like you listen to them, they feel better, but it's not a better situation. So I feel like he's overused. People should learn how to use Winston a bit more or get used to having a Winston. And yeah, that's my answer for that. Which do you prefer? Analyzing a match or analyzing an individual player? I would prefer analyzing a match. And that's just personal opinion. Professional opinion doesn't really matter, because it's not like I'm doing a match, analyzing a match, and then I don't want to analyze a player. It's more like if it's a situation where I need to analyze a player, I'm gonna analyze a player. If I coach individually or do individual coaching, and if I do team coaching, then I have to analyze a team match or team WOD. Apart from macroscopic versus microscopic, what are pros and cons to each approach? It's 2 different scenarios. So a team, well, apart from macroscopic versus microscopic, when you remove those two, there's nothing left. So there's nothing left more than, maybe personal enjoyment, personal preference, skill, like competence. For example, if I'm bad at, let's say, if I'm bad at tank heroes, like I had no idea about some heroes. Let's say that there's this new hero that has been released. It would be bad to do individual coaching if I have no idea about the hero. So that's it's sort of that's sort of stuff that's the only pros and cons. How do you say it? Because well, the ladders, what I just mentioned, it's when I don't know something about the hero, that still falls under macroscopic and microscopic. So I don't know how to answer that question. Sorry. More than just this. What's the best thing about your doggo? His ears. His ears. So his ears are like flapping and like, I don't know. When he shakes his head, the ears look funny. That was from Rebel, by the way. This one is from Sparkly. What's your favorite thing to do to unwind at the end of the day? My favorite thing is to lean back in my chair like this, and then watch I don't know, YouTube videos, and specific kind of YouTube videos, or let's see, a stream. Mostly consuming some form of media that, how to say, doesn't require me to think, so to say. It's I feel like there's two types of energy after, for example, streaming, coaching, whatever it is. There's two types of energy. One where you output and one where you take in and process what you take in or process what you output. And most of the time, I need to recharge on processing what I put out because it's a lot of talking, a lot of how to say, converting converting other people's ideas or perspectives and then breaking them down and try to push them, for example, or set them up for success, or depends on the situation. And then I'm left with a lot of energy where I have all this energy where I can just take in from other people, usually creative streams or creative YouTube channels, and yeah, just consume some media. Not for too long, maybe like 30 minutes or something, and then I'm good. Art advice. What is your favorite work of art? So my favorite work of art is hmm. Let's say if I'm assuming you include any type of art. I really like a song called Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix, and not the lyrics or anything special. It's the notes he plays, or the notes in the song, because that's what drove me to learn how to play guitar as a kid. I really liked the, how to say, the just the, I don't know how to describe it. Like I'm just lacking the word for it. I have the feeling, but I don't have the word. But it's the song that caused me to practice the guitar as a kid, and I practiced it for 8 years after that. And then I quit because of school and stuff. But it started a great, how to say, it started a lot of cogwheels in my head, like learning how to learn something or learning how to master something. I wouldn't say I mastered like playing the guitar, but I was pretty good, and it helped shaping the creativity I have right now, I think. So it's an important work of art for me. Not a super special piece, but piece of like music, but it's yeah, important for me. For two, would you rather fight a one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? Hmm. I would fight 100 duck-sized horses easily, because then there's so many, they can't reach all at the same time. So I'm only fighting a set number of horses at the same time, and then once those are like beaten, they just fill up again, and it's not actually 100 at the same time. Does pineapple belong on pizza from Vake? I say it does. Fairy Dust Lady. What games do you play other than Overwatch? I play a lot of single play games. I play some multiplayer games, but it's I like Souls games. I like like Dark Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne. I like The Witcher. A lot of story games, actually. I like story games, difficult games, Risk of Rain. What else? I, there, I like pretty much everything. The only type of games I don't like is VR games. That's about it. And I don't really play racing games that much. Which countries have you visited so far? That's a long list. That's a long list because I've been in practically not practically the whole EU, but I've been in Sweden, Norway. No, not Norway. I've been in Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Germany, Hungary, Czech, uh, Serbia, Romania. I've been in let's see, I can't remember all the countries around Germany there, but I've been in South Korea as well. That was a good one. US, Canada. Been in Greece, Thailand. Let's see what else. Egypt, and that's. I'm probably missing a lot of countries, but that's the ones I can remember so far. What does your FPS past look like? Have you had a long story? Have you had a long history, or was Overwatch your introduction to it? My my FPS past looks like. Let's start with the beginning. So when I was 9 or 10, I think 10, a friend in my at the school I went to, he said he got to play Counter Strike 1.6, and that's how it started. Everyone started playing it, and I went to buy it, played it, and I kept playing it for 10 years, at least 10 years. No, actually, yeah, I played it for about 10 years, 10 years afterwards, easily. And I played some other ones like which ones? Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Urban Urban Terror. I think Urban. I can't remember the name. Something with Urban in it. I played some Shootmania. Not too much. Some Quake. Mm, CS:GO, of course, but I include that under CS. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it for FPS games. You know how to cook? Yes, I do. I know how to cook. Not I'm not a 5-star chef or a Michelin star chef, but I'm all right. I can handle myself. If so, what is your default dish that you would cook? My default dish is probably spaghetti meatballs. No, not spaghetti meatballs. It's actually the Swedish version is spaghetti meat sauce. That's what I would make. It's a dish that I used to do quite a lot when I studied. So that's how. What was the most difficult situation you had to deal with slash overcome as a coach? Hmm. The most difficult situation was learning how to improve on an individual basis, like learning how to teach myself something, like teaching myself how to talk with people in a more efficient manner or better manner, or how to see different perspectives, how to not get frustrated when players get frustrated at me, or not get frustrated when I expect a player doing something or to do something, etc. The self-improvement part of coaching, it's a continuous it's a continuous situation. Like you always have to self improve yourself as a coach. So the most difficult time was the first time, and that's it.